The question is time travel really possible, or is it just a mind game? Is it just the stuff of science fiction writers? We've always seen time as a river that only flows forward. But Einstein and the physicists who came after him showed us that time isn't really that simple or linear. In this episode, we're going to start by looking at the laws of physics. Because any discussion about time has to begin at Albert Einstein's home, and then with a thoroughly documented perspective, we'll examine real-life stories that have been claimed, where people say they've traveled to the past or the future. This journey is going to both challenge your mind and thoroughly entertain you. So fasten your seatbelts, because our journey into the world of space-time starts right now.
The untouchable law of physics, Einstein's perspective.
Time travel has a scientific name, time dilation. To understand this concept, we need to get familiar with Einstein's masterpiece, the theory of special relativity. Special relativity says that the speed of light is the ultimate speed in this universe, and it has a serious consequence. Time is not absolute. Time is different for everyone depending on their speed and position. Consider the famous twin example. One twin stays on Earth while the other boards a spaceship traveling at a speed close to that of light. When the traveling twin returns, he finds that he is younger than the twin who stayed on Earth because less time has passed for him. This isn't just a philosophical theory, it has been completely proven. We observe this phenomenon every day. Like our GPS satellites. If we don't adjust the satellite's clocks according to relativity, our positioning will be off by several kilometers after just one day. In fact, these satellites are constantly traveling into the future, even if only by milliseconds. So traveling to the future on a small scale is a physical reality. Our only problem for traveling far into the future is the energy and technology needed to reach speeds close to light.
Gravity and the curvature of time, general relativity.
But relativity has another aspect as well. General relativity, gravity. The reason isn't the existence of some magical force, but rather the bending of the very fabric of space-time by massive objects like the sun and stars. This means that the stronger the gravity, the slower time passes. This is also a kind of connection in time. That's why time almost comes to a stop near a black hole. All you have to do is orbit around a black hole once and come back. You'll see that thousands of years have passed on Earth. Insane speed or unimaginable gravity. But does this mean you can travel to the past? Is it true?
Time travel to the past and paradoxes.
But building a traversable wormhole runs into a big problem. You need exotic matter to keep the mouth of the wormhole open and prevent it from collapsing. We need a type of matter that, unlike all the matter in the universe, has negative energy or negative mass. This is a kind of matter that for now doesn't exist in our laboratories, and maybe we can only find it in theory. Now let's assume we've built the wormhole and traveled to the past. Here we enter a philosophical realm that challenges physics. Paradox, the grandfather paradox, as we mentioned before. If you go to the past and do something that prevents your own birth, then who went to the past? This paradox is the biggest logical obstacle to traveling to the past. If we can change the past, then everything we know about the present and future becomes meaningless. But physicists here offer two serious solutions. Stephen Hawking, the great cosmologist, believed that nature has its own defense mechanism that doesn't allow the past to be changed. This mechanism might be the very thing that destroys a wormhole as soon as it opens, or it might cause something to happen at the critical moment that prevents you from killing your grandfather. This theory is derived from quantum physics. It says that every decision or event creates a new universe. So if you kill your grandfather, you've just created a new universe in which you were never born, but your original universe remains untouched. It remains, and only you have exited the original universe. Here we see that in order to save the idea of time travel to the past, physicists are forced to resort to concepts like parallel worlds. Are they really that determined to prove this kind of travel?
Preventing the Civil War, John Titor.
Now, after all these heavy physics discussions, let's move on. Let's get to the section on strange stories, the most famous and controversial case of a man claiming to be a time traveler, John Titor, in the years 2000 and 2001. Titor appeared on internet forums. He claimed to have come from the year 2036. He introduced himself as an American soldier whose mission was to use a time machine to travel to 1975 and retrieve an old IBM computer. Why? Because he said that in 2036, the old computer was needed to solve a technical problem in global systems. Titor began making predictions that shocked many people. His most important prediction was that in 2008, a civil war would break out in America that would involve the entire world. Of course, this civil war never happened, and many of Titor's predictions turned out to be wrong. But what makes this story intriguing are the technological details he provided. He described his time travel device as a portable machine. He explained it as a device that creates a localized gravitational field using 2 quantum singularities. Even if Titor was just a clever con artist, the scientific knowledge he used to design this scenario went beyond simple storytelling. To this day, John Titor's true identity remains a mystery, and for many, he is still a time traveler from the future who failed his mission.
The return of Rudolph Fentz from 1876.
The next case. We're dealing with a rather tragic mystery from 1951 around Times Square in New York. A man dressed in outdated and strange clothes was wandering in the middle of the street and got hit by a taxi, dying on the spot. They found his belongings. Old coins that were no longer in circulation. A business card for a horse riding club and letters dated 1876. The detectives start their investigation, and they conclude that the man's name was Rudolph Fentz, and he had disappeared in 1876. It's as if he passed through a time tunnel and appeared in 1951 without aging a single day. It was later revealed that this story, which had become famous as a documented fact, was actually a short science fiction story written by a German author, and the police had kept it in their archives. They had taken it seriously. This shows just how easily the human mind is ready to accept any kind of strange story as long as it contains a hint of truth.
Real practical tools for time travel.
Despite all these stories, traveling to the distant future is still just a dream. But around us there are things that can actually function as time machines. One of them is our space telescopes. When we look at a star that's 1,000 light years away from us, what we're actually seeing is the light from that star as it was 1,000 years ago. So observing space is a kind of journey into the past of the universe. Another tool is ourselves. With every passing second, we are traveling into the future. We are the only thing that always respects time and never goes back to the past. This is a philosophical reality that we rarely pay attention to. Why is time travel to the past probably forbidden? As a final conclusion from the perspective of physics, the biggest obstacle to traveling to the past is not technology, but logic. If traveling to the past were possible by now, we would probably have seen thousands of time travelers in the world. We would have seen them today. The fact that we don't see any time travelers might be the best reason that traveling to the past is forbidden. Stephen Hawking jokingly said, "Why haven't time travelers ever visited us? Maybe it's because traveling to the past is impossible. Or maybe future travelers know that we're not worth visiting. So traveling to the future is scientific and proven. But traveling to the past is a logical and physical dilemma that still hasn't been solved."
The Kip-Thorne hypothesis.
So far, we've learned that traveling to the past is logically difficult, but some physicists haven't just accepted this so easily. One of these people was Kip Thorne, a famous physicist and Nobel Prize winner. He also contributed to the making of the movie Interstellar. Thorne believed that if wormholes exist, they could become real-time machines, provided that some strange force keeps them stable. Thorne proposed the idea that if we move one mouth of a wormhole at a very high speed and then bring it back, we can create a significant difference between the times. In this way, anyone who enters this wormhole can end up in the past at the other mouth. But the main problem still remains: exotic matter. Until this material is found, Thorne's idea will remain at the level of mathematical calculations for now.
An example.
Idea. Another mathematical idea proposed for traveling to the past was by the mathematician and physicist Frank J. Tipler. He introduced the Tipler cylinder theory. Tipler said that if we had an extremely dense and long cylinder or rod, which spins around its axis at an insane speed, its rotation could bend space-time so much that it would create closed time-like curves. And what does that mean? It means a path in space-time that takes you back to a point in your own past. But this idea was rejected by many physicists. Why? Because building such a cylinder would require an unimaginable and impossible amount of mass. In fact, this idea works mathematically, but from an engineering and physical standpoint, it's impossible.
A man from the year 2042, Alexander Smith.
Now let's take a look at a relatively newer case. A man named Alexander Smith, who appeared in a very controversial television interview, claimed that he had traveled from the year 2042 to this time. Smith claimed that his mission was exposed, and now, due to problems with his time travel device, he is stuck in our time. The main point of Smith's claim was his focus on major social and environmental changes, not advanced technologies. Smith talked about rising sea levels, massive global migrations, and he warned about a government surveillance system that is set to severely restrict individual freedoms. And to prove his claims, he showed a strange and somewhat suspicious object, which he claimed was a technological device from the future. Again, just like all these cases, the validity of Smith's claim is highly questionable. But why do these stories get so much attention? Because these time travelers they target our greatest fears, like the fear of existential catastrophe or losing our freedom, and it's as if by warning us, they make us think.
Time travel and its philosophy.
At the end of this long adventure, let's go over the scientific summary of the story one more time. Traveling to the future is a physical reality that happens through speed or gravity. Traveling to the past, for now, remains only in the realm of mathematics and theory, and its greatest enemy is logic itself. Major physical theories like wormholes and Tipler cylinders only show us how complex space-time really is, but they still haven't made a return ticket to the past any easier for us. The lesson we take from all these mysteries and enigmas is this: that perhaps the most important timing for us is the timing of the present. That we should use the lessons we've learned from the past to build the future today. As you saw, the case of time travel is still not closed, and science is getting closer to this frontier every day. And thank you for joining me in this deep analysis. In your opinion, will scientists reach exotic matter first, or will ordinary people find a way to vote for time travel sooner? Write your thoughts for me, because I read all of them and reply to every single one. And if you enjoyed this episode, follow me and like the video. So until the next episode, goodbye.